Can you see
All right,
me on
guys.
camera?
I don't know. I don't think so. Did I step on you?
No.
Okay. What's up, guys? Those of you that are watching on YouTube, this is Sunday, and I'm definitely still a little bit under the weather. And this is Shooting from the Hip podcast because I was sick. Mark Avila could not make it, so Dina was out of town. Tyler, you can come on in, man. We got Tyler.
You recording?
Right there. My wife's right here. And should we leave that door open? You just want to crack that door. So since this is a little bit of a different podcast, our kids are downstairs. So YouTube, you get a all access VIP Shooting from the Hip podcast. So I'm about to hit record. I keep forgetting that I'm gonna be here by myself. So Tyler, yeah, you have your phone? I was gonna say you can take some pictures, but you have all three of us. Tyler, you should take a shot there, a selfie, and then here. But anyways, guys, we're about to go live. And you know what? The only thing I can think of right now is iCarly.
Oh gosh.
Mm-hmm. I can't be drinking that while I'm actually on the podcast. So with everybody watching, I'm not going to hit live yet on here, but I was thinking about going just a quick everyday uses of what I use. If I was to ask you guys, hey, I use a to-do list. I write something down. The whole thing, keeping things simple. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, yeah. What other things do you think people want to hear?
30-60-90.
30-60-90?
Mm-hmm.
Man, they're going to hear that.
That's nice.
30-60-90, yeah, like planning, a little bit of planning. Tyler, what else would you want? Like everyday people, I'm trying to think of Made4More, what we teach. I think it goes back to the why. So I'm going to keep it short and sweet and tell them to go listen to number one again, but probably hone in on that. What else?
Like everyday planning stuff?
Mm-hmm. Everyday things that could help. I mean, you started implementing 30-60-90.
Mm-hmm.
I heard Cameron this week talk about prioritize and execute. So that's a big one.
My supervisor actually noticed my customer service skills, and I told her that I've learned a lot of that from you.
Nice.
I'm going above and beyond for people, and she's always like, wow, you really don't have to do that. So that's something,
tell them,
an everyday thing for sure, depending on what, well, I guess it doesn't matter what role you're in.
I call it
job.
Yeah, create and complete.
Serving.
Is prioritize and execute, but customer service, like what can you do for other people?
Yeah. We all talked about that before too.
Mm-hmm.
Like serving. Putting others before
Yeah,
yourself.
usually last is basically that, but yeah. Man, you guys are really getting back behind the scenes. BTS. I'm thinking I may give a few shout outs of people that I've heard. What is that noise?
I think it's your child.
Is she out this door? Is she out here?
I don't think so.
Oh my gosh.
Sounded like Sam.
It says TikTok. Oh my
What were you about
gosh.
to say?
I think I was gonna say, I don't know what I was gonna say.
Oh gosh.
I gotta get all these burps out, fellas, from YouTube before I go live. Oh my gosh, I can hear him starting at the bottom of my stomach.
Making it worse.
My dad or my mom watched it and said the same thing. He's like, oh, I was gonna say shout outs, like people that have gotten back to me about, hey, I heard like Adam Adams, my sister, where she's at. It'd be funny to do like a live call. It's just a FaceTime on here. So somebody see that picked up. Jay.
You have to be kind of careful.
Oh. Could be dangerous.
If they don't know what's happening.
Mm-hmm. Man,
or even like
almost there, guys.
talking about the people who have. Wow.
I'm glad it's not recording.
Like the posts that you send us and stuff of the people that have commented on.
Yep.
And shared
Mm-hmm.
your podcast and what they've said about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm trying to think. Everyday usage. That's what I'm
Oh
calling.
my god.
It's this, bro.
Why do you keep
Terrible.
So, Jocko, you ever
Right before
listen to
you start a
this?
podcast, you're gonna drink
Your
shot
stuff makes me burp.
shotgun a Jocko Palmer.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, people are gonna watch that.
It's like some kind of
Oh my god.
weird ASMR.
Yeah, this is the weird ASMR video today. Anyways, all right. Well, here we go. You know what?
You sure you
I
got
was
all your
about to
verse
say,
out?
some people at home were gonna probably got to see me blow my nose, and I don't use a handkerchief. I use a shirt. So
Did you bring one?
good. No, it's all good. But with me being sick, I got loogies.
Okay, stop.
All right.
Oh my god.
Here we go, guys. In 3. Dude, I can't. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe people are gonna watch this.
All right, here we go. Jocko, thanks, man, for that drink. This is a commercial. Ready? 3, 2. Oh, I don't even know what episode it is. Hang on. This is episode. Man. Hang on. All the episodes. What episode is this? I can't believe that. 15?
Oh, you don't remember him.
Yeah, this is 15. It's supposed to be with Mark. So this is going to have to be 15. Let me rename this one. Episode 16, Mark Hollows. All right. Hey, can you do me a favor, man?
Yeah.
Can you text Tatiana? She's sick. I don't know what's going on, but
You want me to tell her?
just tell her, hey, he's recording a shotgun burp podcast, and he just wants you to know. I don't have my phone, bro. I just need her to know that I'll make the notes and stuff like that, and you might tell her because I don't have my phone. It's recording right now, so here we go. In 3. Oh, here we go. That's not gonna be good.
Maybe you need to blow your nose.
I don't want to get up. All right. 3, 2, 1. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Mario for the Made4More Consulting Podcast. And if you're one of our video watchers on YouTube, you want to go check out what just happened. Excuse me for my odd voice because I've been sick, been under the weather, and that is one of the reasons I'm flying solo as far as audio wise. But in the room with me is Jamie, my wife, and Tyler. And excuse me for this sniffing, but yeah, you want to go watch YouTube because we were talking about this, and just the fact that we are having to, pivot on our podcast because Mark and I couldn't get together because I was under the weather. Adina was out of town, and Etiano was here in town, but she's out of town now. And it's just everybody on our team has been doing something this week, and Mark and I was supposed to get together, but it just didn't turn out because I got sick. So we are definitely doing this one off the cuff, and there's a couple of I said shooting from the hip earlier, and you've never heard of that. That's interesting. Have you heard shooting from the hip?
Yeah.
Okay. So shooting from the hip. But there's a few things I wanted to talk about before we get started. So make sure you go watch YouTube, check us out, follow us on that channel, subscribe, let us know that you're watching there. Feel free to comment. But yeah, it was a weird week because I was sick and just had a lot to think about. So Mark and I will pick up our conversation this next week, and so episode 16 will be Mark and I just meeting. So, and talking about Slab. He is one of the owners of Slab. He's the founder. And so it's going to be good. But today, hey, you know what? Today I just wanted to talk about a couple things that I've been getting questions about and just discuss a few things just in regards to Made4More and helping people individually get better. And one of those things is just daily planning. I think that one of the things that I try to do every morning is to wake up and look at the things that I wrote down the night before to get things done. So if you don't get things done daily and you seem overwhelmed and you start to ask yourself, hey, why is this not working? Excuse me. You want to, man, I'm gonna have to start over. You think so?
No.
No?
Just cut that out.
I had loogies. Dadgummit. This sucks. I
It's
shouldn't have even
okay
said
to
that.
cough. Just turn your head away.
I heard turn your head and cough.
Oh gosh.
One of the things that I try to do every morning is to wake up and look at the sorry guys things that I wrote down the night before to get things done. So if you don't get things done daily and you seem overwhelmed, you start to ask yourself, wrote down the night before to get things done. I think that one of the things that I've been getting questions about is just discuss a few things just in regards to Made4More and helping people individually get better. And one of those things is just daily planning. I'm going to cut right there. All right, so daily planning. Man. All right. So daily planning. And daily planning is definitely just very important, because if you aren't getting things done daily and those things continue to add up, by the end of the week you're frustrated, you feel like you haven't gotten anything done, and you probably get behind a lot. And if you have a supervisor, they're probably upset with you, and then you're probably asking yourself, what in the world? You probably don't have as much confidence in yourself and what's going on. So daily planning, it always starts the night before. Number one, it starts the night before. The way to get things done is the night before. So write things out before you go to bed. Write out what you'd like to accomplish the next day. So like for me, I have some things that are reoccurring. Like I check my emails, I check, respond, and reply, or check, respond, and delete emails. That goes along with text in the morning. I also like to make sure that I look at my 30, 60, 90 every morning and look at my calendar. So those three things I know are reoccurring. So the night before, I make sure that those are on my to-do list. And if you have like a digital to-do list, you can write those and put reoccurring so they continue to reoccur, right? And so another thing that night, if you're going to work out, make sure you get your workout clothes the night before ready to go so that there's no excuse. Maybe, I think Adina said it, she used to sleep in her like workout clothes. So hopefully they were clean. Just make sure that you get stuff ready again the night before. Typically though, Sunday starts my week or ends my week. So like today's Sunday. I kind of went through my list for today. So tonight I'll look at Monday through Saturday and kind of look at the big things that need to get done. Any meetings that I'm going to be having, any lunch meetings, any big things that are happening, just like our podcast that we usually record on Wednesdays. Kind of what scheduling conflicts maybe me and my wife have, or with anyone else, traveling, teaching, whatever I'm doing. So Sunday is a typical, hey, let's look at our week. Let's begin to plan the next day. So daily planning starts the night before, but on Sundays, it's a glance at the week. And I look at my 30, 60, 90, that's when I change it. So 30, 60, 90 is, again, looking 90 days out, 60 days out, and 30 days out. So on Sunday, I typically take every week, every like 30 days, erase the front 7 and add the 7 at the end, because it shifts, right? Because you just went through 7 days. So Sunday again is just a quick recap of 30, 60, 90. Here's birthdays, here's key dates. So like I know that I'll be teaching at a church in June, at the end of June and July. And so I'll be discussing about that a little bit later in regards to, I think it's called something about the slack in our lives, removing the excuses in your life. So again, I know that because 30, 60, 90. So again, plan the night before, look at a week's glance on Sunday, but plan the night before. The next morning, start going through that list and just marking things off. And I think one of the things that tends to throw us for a loop is like if you're in your day, in the middle of your day, and someone says, "Hey, can you do this by Wednesday?" and it's Monday, you got to add that somewhere, right? You got to add that to Monday or Tuesday. I just add it to my to-do list and say, "Hey, add this to another day," or I put it at the top of my to-do list to go, "Hey, you know what? I got to figure out where this goes." So again, things are going to come up. Interruptions are going to come up. Some things aren't going to get done. Some things go in the red. And you got to take, at the end of the night, again, you take what's in the red and add it to the next day and go, okay, these things got to get done. So plan the night before. That next day, you get up, you start knocking things out. One of the things I do every day too is called, I wrote down a new name for it. I believe I said it was create and complete. So it's kind of prioritizing and execute, but create and complete means create a list and complete it. But do it in the order that you need to do things. I know Dina had said at one point that she likes to take the big tasks and just knock them out. I think what I try to do is I knock them out in order of sometimes small things or just the order of how my day's going and how the flow of things. So create a list, begin to work down that. Somebody says something, "Hey, you need this done the next day," and add that in there and take care of it. So create and complete, that's a big one. Trying to think what other things throughout the day happen that I go, these are key to me. Let me look at the to-do list right now. So one of the things I will maybe just mention is Microsoft To Do. I'm a big Apple guy, but Microsoft To Do is an app that's out there that that's what I use. It creates it into days, into weeks, and then you can put reoccurring, shows you what's overdue, tomorrow, task list, stuff like that. So, but yeah, so like today I look at my calendar, I prioritize, I check my emails and respond to them, I check my 30, 60, 90. And then, just look at my week and start going. So again, the biggest thing for me on getting things done daily is planning the night before, looking ahead, but making sure that you have a plan. And I think we've heard before that piss poor planning produces piss poor performance. So the 7 P's. So I had come up with one that was like previous planning. I can't even remember. It was different P's, but it creates, some results. So piss poor planning produces piss poor results. Is that what it is? Piss poor planning.
I've never heard that before.
Really?
No.
Wow. Yeah, I know the military uses it quite a bit. But again, it's just telling you that if you don't have a plan, then your results are going to be because of that plan. If you shoot at if you don't have a target to shoot at, you're going to hit it every time, meaning you're not going to hit anything all the time. And so that's what I look at daily is to go, man, I gotta get better at planning. And I will tell you this is let's say you go, "Hey, I'm not a big to-do list person, or I'm not a big planner." Just try it one day or try it for a week. That's one of the action steps. If there's one that you guys, if you want to help me write these down, is one of the steps will be just try planning for a week. Try planning for 1 week, which means get you a to-do list and then just work through your days. And the reason I'm telling you that is because here's what's funny is I've never been a planner, like a big planner, and then I started doing this and I started getting ahead. And one of the things that I've realized is I begin to get more and more detailed in my planning, going, okay, now my schedule is going to have to start getting to like time blocks, like from 9:15 to 10:15, it's this. From 10:20 to 11:30, it's this. And to me, that's ultimately planning, because what I've learned and what I believe is discipline equals freedom, is what I've said quite a bit, is if you want more free time, you have to go by a more disciplined time schedule. If you want more, want freedom in finances, you got to go by a disciplined budget, right? Same thing with time and planning. If you want better free time and more free time, you got to go by a disciplined plan. So again, discipline equals freedom in that. So again, planning starts the night before. Create a list, mark that off, and just go by it. You know, just accept interruptions too. There is no perfect plan. That's the other thing, is if you're waiting for a perfect plan, man, you're never gonna start. And so, yeah, I think there's another quote that goes with that. With a perfect plan, you know, if you're waiting for a perfect plan, it's never gonna start. But then there's one that says a mediocre plan is better than a perfect plan that's never started. So again, just start planning, trying to get yourself better and organized. So that's one of the things, the daily practices of getting some planning done. And so what is on your planning? So here's something that's interesting, is what is on your planning. If you start planning today, here's what I look at my emails. I prioritize my to-do list. 3 of the main things that I try to make sure are on there are working out, which is a run, a walk, or something, right? Working out, reading. So reading falls under growth. I got to read something every day. And then just probably some quiet time, maybe, meaning like 5 minutes to 3 to 5 minutes. And when you say, why is it just 3 to 5 minutes? Because have you ever tried to sit still for a minute? Because if I was like quiet right now, that was only like 30 seconds, 4 seconds. So can you imagine 5 minutes by yourself, just alone? Things start to happen. And I think when you sit quiet for 5 minutes, you begin to get ideas and you write those ideas down. So try to get quiet, you know, try to put workouts on there, and then just try to read something and grow. So again, daily planning creates a better output, I think, at the end of the month. So if you have never planned, try to plan for a day. And then once that day's over, try to plan for 3, and then for a week. And then after a week, try to plan for 2 weeks. And then after 2 weeks, try to plan for a month. And the cool thing with that is, at the end of the year, if you have a plan, it's better than the previous 365 days that you didn't have one and you're shooting after something. So have confidence in that. And I think it builds confidence in you. So yeah, don't give up. And you need some help, again, you can email me at mario@made4moreconsulting.com or info@made4moreconsulting.com. We answer those as much as we can. But that's like the daily activities that I try to practice when we're, you know, just helping people out. Excuse me. I know there's something else that I wanted to discuss. Daily activities, daily planning. What was another one that you guys had said?
I said 30, 60, 90.
Yeah, and 30, 60, 90, I think is, oh man, I wish we could just do, I think we can probably do one on its own. But really, like, today is a perfect day, Sunday, to look at your calendar, go 90 days out, and just start working backwards from 90 days. Stop at the 60-day mark, and then just go, okay, from 61 days to 90, here's all the key dates. And so for me, I have a 30, 60, 90 document. And so there's actually I can pull it up so I can make sure that I'm not telling you a lie. So my 30, 60, 90 document, it's a Word doc. And so I have different colors for different things. It's like a key. So for personal, for my personal 30, 60, 90, it's blue. For Made4More, it's black. For Iron Cross Fitness, where I was actually coaching, was orange. And then for my full-time job, it's green. And then my goals are red. So 90 days out, if there's something in blue, that means it's personal, right? This means it's something I can share with my family. It's something that I have going on, maybe vacation. If it's black, it's Made4More episodes that we're recording, podcasts that we're putting out, maybe things that we're trying to do, planning meetings, whatever, team meetings. And then Iron Cross Fitness, that was the days that I coached. And then where I work full time, you know, like no school, there's meetings, there's disaster relief trips. And again, it's just looking at that to go, oh man, there's something blue coming up in my 30, 60, 90. That means it's personal. Like right now, when I look out 90 days, my father-in-law and mother-in-law's anniversary is 90 days out. Yeah, my niece both my nieces' birthdays. You got Father's Day coming up. So again, those are things that I have in my 30, 60, 90 plan. And again, I look at it every morning so I can continue to mark something off. But every Sunday, I shift it 7 days. So, and with that said, I'm glad we talked about that because this week, like I mentioned, I worked for a gym, and one of the coaches that was there with me, she said, "Hey, I just want to say thanks for coaching, but I want to tell you that I used to do 30, 60, 90, but now I incorporate it back in my life because of what kind of freedom it brought. Again, discipline equals freedom. If you want more freedom, or if you want your free time to be at an all-time place where you can go, I can pill away this weekend, or I can do this. If you want that kind of freedom, you have to live a disciplined lifestyle. If you want to remember people's birthdays and you want to be relationally free, then you got to be disciplined in some of these things to go, hey, I remember birthdays, I remember all these things, especially with business. And that's what she was saying, that she's getting back to it. So totally proud of her. That's Jen Gallagher, just giving you a shout out for that. Jen's an awesome Spartan racer. She's ran more Spartan races, and then she just does them all the time. And if you recall on episode 2 or 3, I called out a buddy of mine for bailing on one of the Spartan races. And yeah, so 30, 60, 90, it's a good thing to have. It's a good thing to add to your day daily. Excuse me. So daily planning starts the night before. Try to plan for a day. Just try to have these things written out. And 30, 60, 90, if you've never done it, let's make sure that you let us know if you need any help with that as well. I was going to say something else. Scariest thing you've ever done. That just came to my mind. Scariest thing you've ever done. That produces fear that you said, I have to do this, but overcome it. Anything?
What I've done?
Yeah.
Scariest thing is probably doing the YWAM mission trip.
The YWAM mission trip. Yeah. What did that entail?
There's a missionary training program to Argentina and then Paraguay, and just kind of taking a leap of faith.
That was for a year?
That was for like half a year.
Oh, half a year. Okay, what about you?
Probably getting up and singing in front of a bunch of people.
Singing in front of a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
You guys, the reason I thought of mine was because I was talking about Jennifer Gallagher.
So what's yours?
That freaking culvert. Remember the culvert that we had to crawl through? So it was about a 50-yard culvert underground, and you couldn't fit in it. You had to lay on your side and get in there, right? I'm not a big dude, and I could barely get my shoulders squeezed in. So I'm on my right shoulder with my elbows probably up at my side so I can scoot up. So you're in a culvert. You get in there and it's dark and there's other men and women above you. So they're all crawling through this culvert. So you're army crawling or side crawling. Oh, you know what? You couldn't army crawl because it was too narrow. So here's what they tell you before you get in it. They said, hey, you can do 30 burpees, or you can crawl in the culvert, or you can do this smaller culvert that's only 15 yards and then 15 burpees. And I remember looking at Jay going, screw this, man. It's that whole YOLO moment. I hate that word, but it's, hey, you're only going to be able to do this once. Let's try it. So I remember getting into that small space, very small space, and we began to crawl. I used my right arm to push me up, and we were just crawling. If you're watching on YouTube, that's what I'm doing. So I was on my side, used my right arm to push myself, and then probably about 15 yards in. So it's 50 yards. So 15 yards in, I hit the guy's shoes on my head. So I can't go any further. I look down, and Jay's head is hitting my shoes. And then I look up again, and I can't see the end of the culvert. I mean, I can't see 45 yards it's just black. Well, then it starts to get hot, and people aren't moving because it's all backed up with people. And I remember telling myself, I'm about to pass out. I'm about to pass out. And I looked down at Jay, and he's like, man, just breathe. We got this. And in my head, I remember closing my eyes and just using my arm to keep going. And when I hit that guy's shoes, I have to stop and go, just breathe, just breathe, just breathe. Because I knew that if I didn't, I was going to have a panic attack because I couldn't control the area I was in, but I could control where I was going, right? Just at small paces. And so by the time we got to the end, man, I remember just catching my breath, pulling Jay out. And then at some point we saw the ambulance show up because I think somebody passed out, but it's trying to get people out of there. And I think, again, one of the reasons I stopped that was because I was talking about Jennifer Gallagher, the whole Spartan race, and just with fear alone and fear in our minds itself, and then some of the things that you want to try to accomplish in growth. So let's say planning is a place where you get stuck and you seem to go, I want to plan, but I'm too unorganized, or I don't see the outcomes I want to see. Just stick with it. And if planning is a fear, I don't know if that could be a fear for someone. Maybe growth is because you don't want to grow, right? You're okay staying in the same spot. And I'm not okay with that. I'm okay with you growing in small little bite-sized pieces. Again, how do you eat enough and one bite at a time? But if you're just staying put, you're always moving backwards or forwards. You're not just staying put, so you're moving backwards. But growth could be a fear for people. And I think that if you're in that area right now of fear, you have that choice to go, I can keep moving even though I can't see where I'm going, or I can stay put, get claustrophobic, and just pass out. And if you do that, you're just staying put. So again, stop listening to this right now and maybe hit pause, whatever, and write down 3 things that you want to do, or 3 things that maybe fear is keeping you from doing, and begin to just work at those things or come up with a plan to attack those things. So again, the way I would look at that is if planning was a fear or a growth, I'd go, okay, hey, I'm not growing. I'm fearful. 1, read a book. 2, learn to plan daily. 3, small bite-sized pieces. How can I knock this out every day? So again, planning, and fear. Yeah, we talked about 3069. We talked about daily planning. Probably won't go much longer, maybe about 8 more minutes. What was another thing that we said we wanted to discuss?
I'd say customer service.
Yeah. Did you have something?
I don't think so.
Okay. I think, customer service. One of the things that we've discussed on this podcast from the very beginning has always been leaders eat last. So putting yourself second as a leader. And if you're not over people, it's still putting yourself second for your leader, for your employees, for your employer. Just to find and I think the way that you just do that is to go, okay, how can I serve someone today? How can I serve someone in the next hour? And if you write that down, continue to just go, okay, how can I serve? And here's an interesting thing for me is when I'm frustrated and I know that an opportunity to come up to serve someone, it appears like, okay, Mario, go help that person. It's typically at a place when you don't want to do it, or you know that person probably in your mind doesn't deserve it. That's when you go, okay, I need to do something. That's when I know that I need to serve. And so if you can do that for people that maybe you think don't deserve it, and you begin to do that for the people that you work with, or your boss, and you look for opportunities to lend a hand, like really look for opportunities to help other people, you begin to be seen as the person that, hey, I can rely on that person. Hey, they want to help. Hey, they're getting us better. Hey, they're always trying to do things for other people. Let's do something for them. And that's not what you do it for. But in the end, you get taken care of because you're constantly looking around for an opportunity to serve. And I think if you're young or if you have kids that are teenagers that are working, man, the biggest piece of advice as a guy that was over a lot of people in, in the industry that I was in was, man, I don't care if you are not busy and you're having a slow day, you find a broom and you clean, you dust, you find something to do, you clean the restrooms, you find something to do, because when you see idle hands, you go, okay, that person is never doing something, and then this person's always doing something. Who's going to be the first person they get rid of? It's the person that's never doing anything. It's the person that they go, that person doesn't have initiative, that person doesn't want to move forward, that person, and those things go in a person's mind as they're trying to get better. Because if your business is not doing as well as it should, and you start to look around at the people that aren't doing anything, you go, okay, hold on. I thought you had my back. I thought you weren't on the same team. But then you look around, you see people that are actually taking the initiative to serve others and serve you by staying busy. That's it. And then you take that serving others and serving your employer and start serving the customer that way. Bro, you're good to go. So, yeah. I mean, I'm coming up on 25 minutes, guys. I didn't want to take this long. So, a couple of things before I go. Extreme ownership. We're going to be talking about that in a couple of weeks. Mark Avalos from Slab Barbecue, Slow, Low, and Bangin'. That's what it stands for. He's going to be telling us how Slab got started, some of the struggles in life when your back's against the wall, what he would share with someone that maybe is at a place that has been discouraged and doesn't know, maybe they're wanting to give up on their dreams, man. I can't wait for him to share some of the things that he's gone through, and you know, some of the shows he's been on, some of the accolades that they've gotten because he didn't give up. But then ultimately also for him to share with everyone here what Made4More does, because, you know, we don't talk a lot about what we do. We share it, but we don't want to talk a lot about the good ramifications, the consequences of us being in a place where we help businesses get better. So we can't wait to share that with you, Mark Avalos, next week. Excuse me. Big news. We'll have some big news on Wednesday because we got a new product coming out we're getting it Tuesday. We got new t-shirts. We got the first edition t-shirts, second edition. So make sure you check out our website, order those. Wednesday, we'll be recording a new podcast with Mark. And then, yeah, I think that's about it. I appreciate you guys staying with me. I hope that my voice is not too crazy or annoying because I've been sick. Try not to cough in y'all's ears, but please go back and watch the beginning of our YouTube video because I don't know how many times I burped. I'm drinking this amazing energy drink, and it just makes you burp. That's all I can say. And it was a pretty funny video, so you might want to check it out.
Not a sponsor.
It is not. I'm not sponsoring it, but I would if that dude would come sit in a chair and talk with us about leadership. Definitely would sponsor that. So, guys, I appreciate you guys letting me share with you. Again, this is just something that we want to do. I hope it helps. If it does, let us know because this is something that was not planned. So I hope this helps. Well, it wasn't planned, and we talked about planning. See, you should always have that's a key thing. Always have a contingency plan, and I did not have a contingency plan. So you will bet yourself from here on out we'll have a contingency plan. If Adina's listening to this, she did have a plan. I didn't. We both came up with a plan that we wanted, but I was like, hey, I think we can do this. So again, remember, every week we say this. Remember, you exist for more. You're here for more. Don't ever give up because every single one of us was made for more. We'll see you guys later.
Good job, babe.
Wow.
That's a good job.
Thank you. I hope that made sense.
Yeah, it did.
Guys at home, I hope it made sense. What did you say?
I think so.
Okay, man, they got the show today 'cause from the burps to the restart. Guys, I hope you have hope this helps. Let us know if it does. I'm gonna try to. I have to get that video off of that phone, upload it to YouTube, and we got to get this thing going. So, did it record? Hopefully it did. We'll see you guys later.